Hi, this is Laura Whaley from Kite Technology Group, bringing to you our next installment in our Consulting Corner series. Today, we are going to take a look at setting up your Applied Epic home screen for success. So without any further ado, let's jump into Epic. Alright, so here we are on our home screen, also known as Home Base in Applied Epic. For those of you that have logged into Epic, this screen looks very familiar. The one thing that most folks do not know is that you do have the ability to set some custom configuration here. So out of the box, Applied gives you some standard layout, but you do have the ability to go in and make this your own. So that's what I want to spend some time on today, just giving you some quick tips and tricks on how to accomplish that. So the first area that I want to cover is not on your home base, but rather under Configure, User Options, and then Home Base. So depending on your security within your system, you may or may not have access to this area. However, if you do not, your administrator does. Administrators, quick tip for you, that you can actually come in here and adjust anyone's home base for them. So if you have a standard that you want to set for new employees, you can do that. Or if you have an employee that's struggling to set their default view, but they know what they want to see, you can come in and help them from here. So here under displays, the areas to display, you can check on or off any of the various areas that you want to take a look at. Activities at a glance, and tasks, I do recommend leaving on for everyone within the agency. They are an important function. Dashboards and opportunities typically are reserved for those that are involved with using opportunities in Epic and maintaining sales data or prospecting in the system. Your market appetite search is that Ivan's connected tool that'll let you look up based on a type of business and the state that they're in, as well as the lines of coverage that you're looking for, to find out what carriers are actively writing those lines of business. Your new and waiting, depending on your agency, will encompass a couple of things, and we'll take a look at that here in a moment. And then your report quick view is also set by an administrator or team lead within the agency. We'll take another look at that here in a moment. So next to display is your activities, and this tab here is the same that is available from your home base. So I want to focus on that regardless if you have access to it here under customize or configure. We're going to cover that back on the home base. Your report quick view is the ability to simply delete or rearrange the reports that have been assigned to you. You cannot rename reports, you cannot add reports, and you cannot adjust the criteria of those reports. But once they've been assigned to you, if something feels more important than one of the others, you can use the up and down arrow to reorganize those. Notifications. If you are interested in turning on notifications on your home base, you can set a few additional features here under notifications. And then is your new and waiting. So again, depending on what the agency is utilizing, these will be turned on or off. So again, administrators, if you are not using unrouted faxes, for example, you can come in and turn that off, as well as if you're not using My Epic workflows. So you may only be using attachments, document scanning. You can just leave that as the only item that's checked on. Again, the idea is to make the focus of your home base what you are using, what's important to you, so that you can really hone in on where your priorities are for the day. So back on home base, let's take a look at a few things here. We have customized view, and if we click on that, you'll have 3 tabs. The first and the third are related to employees that you have been granted access to view. If you have not been granted access to view another employee's activities or tasks, this list will be empty. Once you are granted rights, you can turn them on or off. I will say that although you are granted rights to those other employees, you don't want to turn them on unless you are actively managing those items. Having them on can create confusion and take away the focus on your items that you need to be completing. Here in the activities to display, though, is an area where you can come in and decide. Now, the default is the open activities through today plus 0 days. However, if I'm going to be on vacation, out on PTO, and I want to plan for items that could be coming up, I can pen this out. Once you set this at plus X number of days, it will stay there until you come back in and take it off. So I do highly recommend leaving this through 0 days unless you are planning to be out and you're trying to work ahead momentarily. Do not leave this as plus X number of days unless you are a person who is consistently working ahead. Adding extra activities to your home base tends to be overwhelming for most folks and really takes away the ability to focus on those items that are due or even past due. Down beneath it, you have a couple of other options based on date, so you can look at just open activities for today. Again, if you're one of those people that are behind and you're trying to focus on today, and then you'll want to do the open activities. We also have selected date range if you want to focus by date. Underneath that, we have specific activities. So this may be helpful if you have a lot of open activities and you want to try to focus on activities that are event related. By that, I mean if you want to focus on items that, for example, are change requests, pending endorsements that we're waiting on. You can either use the selected button to select a category or codes. So if your agency uses categories, you would pick the category and then filter your open activities based on the category. If you're not using categories and you want to focus on a specific code, for example, I have a lot of RENRs, which for me is indicative of a policy or quote that I'm still waiting on. I could use my codes and add to that my list of codes that I want to focus on. All right, so I'm going to hit cancel here. I'm not going to make any updates. And I'm going to click in the upper right hand corner next to where we were just at, select columns. So under the select columns, you have the ability to decide which columns are important to you. You can turn any of these columns on or off. So for example, the default might include a entered by and a priority. If I do not care who added the activity for me, but I know that it's assigned to me and it's due, I'm going to follow up anyway. Priority would be if your agency is not in the habit of using an urgent versus a normal priority, you could turn those off. So once you uncheck or check whatever you want to see, you'll hit OK and you'll notice that it does update the view here. So I have removed those fields from my view. And what I like to try to do is make this view as condensed as possible. So I'm not sliding back and forth. So once I have the fields highlighted or the columns selected that I want, you can make these larger or smaller. So for example, the code I would want to make small. A field like the account name I may want to make larger. However, you can make this as large or small as you want. So again, if I am only focused on my items and have all of the columns here that I want, you'll see that once I made that column smaller, I now no longer have to scroll from side to side. So again, you'll want to make sure you've included all of those important columns, but also adjusting them if possible so that you have the most condensed view possible. This will just allow you to work much more efficiently. You won't be focused on sliding back and forth and trying to find information. Now, once you have those columns selected, you can choose to drag them back or forth. So if I want to rearrange those columns so that my view of them makes more sense. I'm focused on, for example, if I'm used to working with codes and I like to sort by code, I may want to put that to my farthest left. If I'm one of those folks that like to work on accounts and group activity by account, I may want to move those over to the left so that I can easily sort those and then move to the right to find the detail. So make sure that you're coming in, setting your columns as is what's important to you, adjusting their position and size so that everything is a good flow for you and you're able to quickly move through these items. All right, so the at a glance and last note entered tasks will always show up underneath that. Remember, you can adjust the size of these depending on what's important. So if I want more focus on my open activity list, less focus on the items to the bottom, I can just drag these down and adjust as needed. All right, so down below you always have those other modules added that we talked about. So I have my report quick view and my new and waiting. So just remember, if possible, to keep those in a view where you can see them so they don't get lost at the bottom of your screen. Depending on your screen resolution, your monitor size, etc., these could be down further in your view, and if they're not far enough up in your view, you will lose sight of them. So if you have stuff in new and waiting and you're not seeing that they're being assigned to you, you won't go out to get them. So again, try to make your home base yours. Make it so that it flows well. You can see all of the relevant information that's important to you. And if you need help with this area, grab your system administrator. All right, so hopefully today you have gleaned a tip or two about setting up that home base for success. If Kite Technology can help you in any other area, please reach out and let us know. You can visit us at kitetechgroup.com, click the Contact Us button, and someone will reach back out to you. Also there on our webpage, you'll find lots of resources on past webinars and other Consulting Corner videos, as well as some pretty neat handouts. I hope you enjoyed this installment and come back and visit us soon.